all staring at me. I thought people were.
Hooted.
Mhm.
All right, we're live and once it's working, all right.
Alright,
That's all.
okay. Josh, did you have?
Multiple things.
Okay,
First update, I think you all see that there are 2 houses under construction in Meadowbrook, 1,300 square feet each, 1.5 car garage. One of them is under contract, the other lots of interest on it. Within about the next 30 days, we're hoping to break ground on the next, at least one house. And our goal is to do a 2-car garage house, 1,300 square feet plus. We haven't landed on the square footage yet, but at least 1,300 in a 2-car garage. So I know it's been a big point of discussion here with the redevelopment commission was having more than a 1-car garage. So we're going to take that leap on the 3rd house in line and try to do a 2-car garage. Richie, you and I spoke about a month ago about paving and to bring to the commission today just the authorization or request to pave all of it with the surface, realizing that it is a subdivision, but working with the builders as we go to put dumpsters in the grass or in empty lots instead of on the road, so we keep from tearing that up. But just being that it's really the only active, like brand new subdivision kind of thing, getting rid of any stigma that's affiliated with not having a final surface asphalt. So was gonna ask, per your recommendation for approval today from the commission, to go ahead and have GM Development cover doing the asphalt, surface asphalt.
so the thought was that the final coat goes on at the end of completion, which could be a few years down the road. And so does that have a negative impact on the marketing of those houses, from a perception standpoint? And Josh was saying that, since we don't have a lot of new construction, new subdivisions going in, people aren't accustomed to seeing, an unfinished road. Maybe that would have a negative connotation against those houses. Having that finished product would obviously give it a better look and appeal. The concern is the ongoing construction doesn't cause damage to it. And so there could be some, potential of that. Obviously, if something's major, working out with its contractors, trying to be sure that, they're mindful of that and, working through that is that.
That was an item that we had dealt with in North Vernon on a similar, large subdivision, first in 40 plus years. And just the unknown of when surface asphalt just seems like it's an unfinished product to some. In heavily populated areas, you see it every day, but just being an unknown or just something that's different, we felt like it may be beneficial to go ahead and do and get that over with, so that it looks finished and ready for residents.
I think if you do it now, you'd probably be doing it twice or at least touching it up. That's the reason most of the time it's waiting until the end to do.
Asphalt, you typically would see, and Jeremy can give opinion on it, but a 10-year kind of cycle for most of those things. Questions, how long will it take the subdivision to develop out? And that's really one of the unknowns right now, is how quickly we build it out. It's going to be at least 3 years, so I would just ask, is that something we want to leave for 3 years like that? And what does that stigmatize as unfinished? Just as something that people look at that way. So I don't disagree with you, Trevor. It's a question of, do you do it or not?
When you guys are building these houses on the next lot, do you think you're gonna continue down straight or you're gonna wrap around to the?
Yeah, we're going to continue to the next lot down. So at least the next 2 houses. There've been requests for building custom. We're saving the east side for custom larger builds, so that we can build the base like we've been talking about with the development commission, just grow in size and assess value as we work towards the far corner, which is over by the park.
My comment is I understand both sides, but I also know from history that, there was someone who lived in the country on a new road and they did it piecemeal. And it was a detriment to the property owners that were already there, plus the new builders, that it was not a finished road or topped off until it was. But here, my question is, who's in charge of making sure that the construction, concrete trucks and everybody else don't tear up the new pavement?
I think you're gonna see a road that gets marred up. I mean, that's without question. Somebody will drop a rock and they're gonna take a skid steer or a loader and they're gonna scrape it up. So asphalt is really, it looks new for the first year, and then after that, you're just relying on it to be strength. It's not about how it looks at that point. So it will get scratched up. It's inevitable. It's gonna happen. I live in a subdivision that had new construction asphalt, and, 6 months after the paved surface, somebody was going through patching curbs. So when you go through patch curb, those things happen. It's just a part of construction and subdivision development. The only comment I have here is it's just not been seen or done in a larger scale, which is what you all are really making effort to do. So we don't want that to be what holds it back from 3 or 4 years for being paved. It'll be the city's road though, so city ultimately has responsibility on everything. If somebody does major damage, it's that builder's responsibility if they do major damage, but scratches, scrapes, things like that are gonna happen.
I would think, personally, I would say give it more time, because you're getting interest on these houses anyways, but, as it is, nothing says that we can't do 6 more months, start building some of these homes, and then reassess, do we wanna go ahead and fully pave it out now? I think you're gonna take the risk of damaging, having to, like Trevor said, re-asphalt it, and that's more, it's the city's budget, I can't remember. I think it was around $40,000 is left for asphalting, so.
The comment that I heard earlier this year was that what's left is what's left, and so just know every year we go, asphalt prices are going up, so the 40,000 may need additional dollars if it drags on to new years or gets done in phases. So that's the comment, is asphalt is not getting cheaper.
I mean, it does make, there's two sides and, they both make sense.
So I think if you do it now, if we scuff it up and redo it, I think there may be some funding and restricted, maybe restricted to research. That's the only option we have, to research it. It'd be restricted funds.
Is that community crossing dollar kind of match stuff, or is that?
No, that's just for every, that's what.
You all do community crossing?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So it would just get added to the inventory once you surface it and put it as a part of your recurring paving and repaving plan.
Yes.
What would your thought be as far as if it was spring? Got through.
You'll probably have 4 to 6 more houses there by April. So instead of 2, you're 6 to 8.
Also, no snow removal that, on a brand new, a little more curing over the summer if we did do.
The thing you take risk is that your plow driver is gonna drive down it and stand up straight, basically, with a blade hitting a manhole casting that's sticking up that much, so plow drivers have to be aware of that.
So there's
No.
the other side of that too.
They'll only do it once.
That's right.
That's right, you do that once, and then you remember where that manhole casting is afterwards.
So I think,
I'm okay to wait till next year. But it's up to everybody else wants to.
mhm.
So Josh, you think that's going to hurt on the sale?
I think it would help it only because there's not a new subdivision here with an unfinished road anywhere.
Mhm.
That's a difference. That was something that we saw in North Vernon as the talk of community was about the subdivision's not finished. I don't want to buy or live there because you have an unfinished road. And the question just remains, when will that road get finished? I see both sides. So like,
Yeah.
the city engineer in me completely understands and agrees Jeremy's comments. The private developer, I see that as well and understand that the road will get scratched up and marred. It's just, which one outweighs the good or the bad there?
Mhm.
We actually done the same thing at Ball Circle, because we just repaid that and had to put it up. It's what it is, we'll have to research the mystery, community crossing money.
My recommendation is to do it. I believe paving it will benefit and be the better route. I understand it.
So I guess, there's three options then. Now, we mentioned spring or the normal, which is into construction, whether it be
Just
3,
understand.
4 years.
The normal end of construction is gonna likely take more than it will to do it today.
Sure, right, but it's still the three options we're faced with. And so is anybody of the mindset that we need to wait till completion, fully completion?
Yeah.
I mean, that's where Josh's argument is, the back of the perception of the, just the unfinished, people not used to it. And then the other option is if we wait till 6 months, is there a big difference between now and 6 months from now, or, springtime? What kind of difference does that make? Or is there even a purpose of an advantage of waiting those few months till spring? So, and I don't know the answers to those, but, some of that's opinion too, whether, waiting, if somebody thinks that, it's something we should be waiting fully for that. I see the side of the marketability of it, of putting it in advance, but, if they all pop off with no problem either way, then I guess, waiting would have been the best decision, but we don't know that. What's your thoughts?
I've sold probably 40 houses in a subdivision without the final paving in it.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's been mentioned more than once or twice as a comment, and then you just explain it at that point, and they're good. That's my, in the work field experience with it for waiting. And asphalt prices might go up between now and then, but also it'd be more money to do it twice.
Mm-hmm. Well, if there are the NVH funds, they could.
And also on the community crossings, ran into it where out there at the Y, when we were talking about the bridge, and where they just paved it, didn't get the bridge redone. We were gonna go back and try that community crossings grant that. We were told that because that road had just been paved, it would be scored very low for the foreseeable years to try to redo it.
Right.
So there wasn't a good chance that it would get a grant within the next few years to redo it.
Right.
They want to see it added to the Pacer rating and the inventory as soon as it gets paved, so that you track it and you do just what you said, is you're monitoring it over time, so it doesn't go from a 5 to a 1 or whatever the number is immediately.
Mhm.
I don't know which one outweighs the other.
My gut feeling is
To wait this spring.
Year, yeah.
Reevaluate in spring or plan to do it?
What's the plan on your after, yeah, it's reevaluate. But I totally agree with Jamie on the, I think waiting until completion might be the best route, because we never know what may happen.
What's your gut feeling?
I see the marketability side of it, you know, I don't want it to get messed up. I see the advantage of that. But at the same time, we don't want it dinged up or especially severely hurt. But I don't know, I was in favor but I'm not diehard on it at the same time, so.
It would definitely look better, it's just if we're comfortable having to do touch-ups or redoing it later down the road.
And patched in work isn't always the best looking either. At the same time. It's got to be a full coat to really look good. So, which would be expensive, obviously. Anybody want to take a stance or?
I'm indifferent on it right now.
All right, I don't see a lot of.
It's fine.
Well, we can always keep reevaluation.
We'll
See
wait
what- see what
until next
feedback-
year.
See what feedback you get.
But you only got about 2 more months to pay this.
Right,
so-
I know.
And it'd probably take a month just to get it scheduled,
Yeah.
so. It's okay, the comment that the budget was what it was.
Yeah.
We just have to understand there may be an increase in asphalt costs next year or
Yeah.
in 3 years. So just having that understanding, we're good.
Well, you mentioned MBH, so MBH supplementing would be a lot less than MBH redoing the whole thing.
Funds we have, I'm speaking of Chris, not just to that.
Yeah.
All funds we have resources, if it's restricted, if we use that.
Evaluate.
All right, so I'm assuming we're holding, so we're
Yeah.
good. The next item I had, we had shared, with Mayor and Chris, copies of the application for IFA with letters just requesting from the city, and it was taking our IFA application that we did last year. Applications are open and closed next week. So we were replicating the application for the Indiana Finance Authority for York Woods Crossing. Basically matching it verbatim, just asking for updated letters of support from city, from the mayor and clerk, treasurer, that was good to go. So just asking if we're good to ratify that with the same $1.35 million request, backing everything else is the same, from last year. When we submitted last year, it was put that we wouldn't be able to start for a period of time. So last year's application, they were looking to turn around in a matter of 2 to 3 months. But we believe this year we're able to satisfy their time for a spring start. So looking for the board to just officially, I don't know if the mayor or Chris need that, but just thought that would be the appropriate path to make that request.
The only letter that needs to be done, Chris, you got to take that one redate that.
Yeah.
Sign.
There was a letter of support from the mayor, and then a letter of financial, I think it was a letter of financial capability, basically. And then asking one business, adjacent or nearby to write a letter of support. So we sent a packet of like 10 or 12 different items, just showing them what the documents were, so.
You said 1.35 million?
Yeah, we received 2 million in ready. The budget was 1.35, and then there was what we were doing was there's a maximum you can request per lot. So based on that, we had maxed out what the request could be.
So
Chris, you have any issue with that?
we're all good, so no no real action from us or anything?
I would take action, just to confirm it, and we'll have it in the minutes if they ever needed it,
Okay.
reaffirming it.
Motion to reaffirm the information for the application? Is that really what it is?
Okay.
Just-
Authorizing the mayor and Chris to put the application and letters of recommendation out.
Okay.
Second that.
Okay. Any questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passed.
Thank you. I don't have any other updates. That application will go in next week. I think it's, Monday. We'll spend 3 or 4 hours submitting everything.
Mhm.
We anticipate they'll make something by January.
What's your timeline on the 2 houses? And then the timeline on the start of the third, do you think?
So one house, I think we're anticipating closing the first week of November. There's been a lot of interest in the second house. We believe shortly after we close on the first house, we'll start on the second. The builder's working through plans, and we'll go through the appraisal process before they get under construction, just to show anticipated value. But 2-car garage is what we're anticipating.
Okay.
So that was our commitment to you guys 4 or 5 months ago when we started, that we want to figure out how to go build in square footage
Yes.
and build in attached garage spaces. So we're trying to make sure we do that.
Right, good. All right. Still under old business. Any old business? All right. We'll move on to new business. And first up is X-Toll Media.
Hello,
Jason,
how are
hello,
you?
Jason.
Haven't met y'all, I'm Jason Applegate with the toll. Pretty close, everything is, and you'll see here is if you've seen over that. This is the proposal on everything for the next year, very similar to what we've done already in the past couple of years. Same price, everything that we talked about. What we've done is marketing, branding of the city of Austin, the communications, public relations, groundbreaking, ribbon cuttings, all of those items that we've done, videos, handle all the social media accounts, Energize Austin included in that, and then I put together just a few of the PowerPoints from last year to this year, with a few numbers. I've got some social media numbers that I've got that's updated. From a standpoint, from a community side, what we were looked at as being brought in is initially getting the city rebranded, building that stable base to where then we are able to get the word out, communicate to the public all the great things that you all have as redevelopment, as well as administration has done throughout the past 10 or so years. It just wasn't getting out to the public, to where when you looked at the accounts and everything, if you search City of Austin 3 years ago, you would see police reports. And so when we were brought in, it was initially to start to have that queue of materials, the look, the overall branding of the city, and communicating with the public, as well as not just in Austin, but around, to build up for the time where we're getting to within the next year as of now, really, with even the houses we were just talking about, but also with the future growth in housing in Austin, to where when you search about a place to live, you want to see your good schools, you want to see businesses, and you want to see parks, you want to see, and you want to see the just community as a whole, to where that's a place that I want to live. Started with the new logo that we did, a couple years ago. Throughout all, as of just last week, we handled and helped and facilitated the groundbreaking for the park. We've got our new website that we'll be sending to the state to switch over and point, finally, right, to point to the new website. And it's gonna have the ability of being able to have people sign up for alerts, and we'll be able to push notify finally to people to where we'll be able to send out either text or email to let people know, let's say trash is not gonna be this weekend, it's gonna be that. So we're gonna be more forward on communications. We'll start collecting those names and making a push to start getting as many people added to that list so we can communicate with our public better. From a social media side, just in the last year, we've had over 530,000 views. And this is a constant growth that we're just over and over as you start getting noticed more on social media, as people like your as people like what you're putting out there communication wise. More people follow. If it's good content, more people follow. If they care about the content, then more people follow. That just grows the ability to be able to have more people look at the eyes on Austin, which will then purchase the new houses. And then ultimately, when you have the rooftops right, then that'll ultimately bring some more business and other elements of that. We did have one success story, just thinking about it. I don't know, it was a few months ago, if I remember exactly right, it was somebody who saw one of the posts or the videos or something from Louisville, and they looked into Austin, and then it actually picked up and moved here to Austin, and we did a piece on them. So some good stuff there.
Did they happen, sorry, I'm just curious, did they happen to mention what their appeal was?
I would have to look back at exactly what that was. Angie will know, and I can get back to you on some of on those items. But I mean, I think it's just the overall area, but I'll find out for sure. We've had in the past 28 days, we've gained 220 followers. In the past 28 days, the numbers of followers is compared to all businesses in this category, which would be the municipality, we're in the 75th percentile for this metric. The City of Austin page has intentionally visited by individuals searching for it 4,900 times in the past 28 days. So all of our numbers are growing on positive ways. When you compare this to other municipalities, in this, according to Meta, that the businesses within this category of organic reach on Facebook, your businesses are in the 27th percentile, and these are not boosting any posts. These are not any numbers. We're not adding any money to any of these posts. It's all just organic from the followers that we have. On LinkedIn, we're up 212% reactions, up 180. Our response times are great. I was looking at it for this presentation. I know we had when we did a piece on the homes being built. I think there was a comment about the growth, and then I know that Stacy, she commented back on the post. We have the interactions on the trash that we're pushing out right now. There were questions about the cans right away, so we're able to respond immediately with all of that. And then, of course, we're monitoring everything all the time from a public relations side and everything else, if there's ever any of those elements that that arise. In the next, if we're looking at in the next, let's say 6 months or so, we've added from the Extol side, we've added a meteorologist to our team, was the chief meteorologist with the local ABC affiliate in Louisville. He's now on our team, which does benefit our clients because we will monitor all storms, weather, things like that. So if there is a storm that is coming, we will let you all know that there is to be worried, because we do watch these areas that we're associated with and have the direct line to be able to get to those comments. I know you just put up the sirens this past year. And then we also have done with that show, we stream 6 shows a week, live stream. One of those is the weather show, Ben at 10. And then we also have added a morning show as well, which combined, all of our followers have over 80,000 followers between our channels, and then over 2 million views a month. In the wintertime, those will go up extremely. Will go up a lot as we have more weather. We're getting ready to release an app, so we will be pushing people more out with some of our alerts and things like that. But what that does from a client side is that messages are going on all our channels. We'll start to utilize more reels since we have that stability and our growth of our social media. We'll start to use reels and shorts and those type of videos a lot more in the coming year, because now we have that base of that branding that if people are going to the site and to your pages and those different things, they're going to just see positive activity. So now you can we're not explaining as much of what we're doing in Austin. We're going to be able to highlight more bullet points. In the past year with the website, I went through all the parks, totals of all the parks, listed all the amenities. We think that we would have a lot of those things there, but we found out that we didn't have, like, what is at each park? Are they dog parks? Is it a walking trail? Is it got playgrounds? You know, does it have a lake you fish at? Is it a facility you can rent? So did a lot of that, going to each of the parks, finding out those type of things and adding those amenities. Putting all the forms that once the website goes live, you'll see that those will be online forms from the building, to where somebody will go in and fill out the form online, gets emailed directly to the administration, and then also along with like the parks, if somebody puts in an application, they can do it online, and those will be all recorded online and the application filled out on a nice form that you will, it's quality form, right? Not just like a form that you fill out just on a normal website. It's a separate form that has those elements. So everything is now getting interactive, is having that digital aspect to where then that messaging and everything gets out a lot easier, instead of having to go ultimately knock on doors. We'll be able to hit communities, which as you start to build, as you start to bring things, that's what you start finding in with new people coming to the area, because we're not, there's going to be some people that move houses and those type of things in redevelopment, but you're also going to have people that are coming to the area, and your online presence is vital to those elements. So besides all the stuff that we do from a marketing branding standpoint and those items, we in the following year we'll be working a lot more. We'll call it like pushing out information, and then being able to target certain areas of what we're looking at pushing out and those type of things. I do think in the next year, love to see a lot more like little smaller events and those type of things that would be, let's say a walk or a run or something at the park that starts at the park, or cleanup, or some music next year, and those type of little bitty events that build that community, that start to show that arts and culture and activity and health and those type of things within the community. Those do really well, and have shown tremendous, across all municipalities, have shown tremendous results in growth and really building community, from the current community you have, plus involving new people within the community that are in the area that start to meet more people that's been in the area before, instead of everybody just being in their own niches. You start to add those events, especially when you may not have, a new restaurant, or you may not have those new businesses yet. You can build some of those spot events that don't take a lot of, involvement, but are very valuable. Just a little setup, and then you start to build, more little events and things that get people out to use the facilities that you've all put a lot of money and time and things into, so.
Who will be a part of that, conversation, as far as should we have a committee?
We could set up any of those, I mean, of course, right? Anything that we ever have involved in it, and we have a lot of elements from like what we do, ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings, we have audio, we have, promote these items and those type of things out. Now that we've got Austin Alerts and those other things that you'll see from the website, and what I'm saying is more people are involved in the site. I think going back to like 4,700 followers on Facebook now, or 37 or 47, I'd have to look at it. But we're able to get that message out for not spending any money, right? So then if we have little groups of folks that take on a little bit extra stuff, whether it may be like, if we look at having a little music at the park or something, right? Then how do we facilitate that and make sure that we're okay with the parks? And then having a local musician or somebody that is playing, and we do have to have concessions or restrooms or those type of things, facilitate some of that. So it is a benefit to have some extra players involved from a committee side to where it's not just one person's idea of what we should do, but a little bit of the collaborative side of things. So we welcome any of those opportunities to be able to involve the right people within the community to kind of help with those events. So short answer, yes. Where that committee lies or who handles that or sets that up, and we can work on whatever that would be. Usually it's a good mix from an administration or a board, and then you bring in a couple other groups that you have people that'll do, because it's usually a more hands-on committee, because there's active stuff that needs to be done. Little, not a lot, just a little bit of planning, so everybody has a good experience when we have these events.
My question is that, especially with the new website finally up and going,
Yes.
we discussed for several years, Stacy and I talked extensively about promotion. I mean, you do a good job at the event, but there is little pre-event knowledge to spread. And that's the part that I would like to improve greatly upon, whether it's a committee that someone can submit. Church is having a fundraiser, one's having a Halloween party, or they're doing something, fundraiser, and that they would submit prior to the event in order for you to spread the word. That's a piece that's been missing greatly. And it's great to put it in the paper after it happens or on Facebook while it's happening, but that doesn't help you or me who already said, oh, I would have loved to have been involved in that and help, but I didn't know about it until it's too late. That's the piece that I would like to see, that now that this is either a submission button or a committee to submit, filter that, and then push all that information so that that can be released weeks ahead of time, not just the day of.
Love it.
That's possible?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I could have a form up on the new site before it goes live, because we do have a calendar, which is typically going to be just filled with city meetings and those type of things. So very easy to be able to submit an event and then get those added. And then if it is something that is shared, on the city page, and that would be up to, there is some of that. If you're gonna do it one for, who's choosing, right? So we gotta make sure that there is some guidelines, some
Right.
rules, some things that, where do those events come from? Who makes the choice? Because then ultimately you're gonna have, why didn't you put mine up there? I submitted it. And then we don't wanna maybe bring interest to that event, like you wouldn't say that. So there's gotta be some of those,
Should it be more established on what the business alliance, like, I see
Those are the
Chicago
rules.
does it so well, yeah.
who does?
North, Lakeview, North Halsted in Chicago.
Yeah.
Their business alliance, just, they have such a well laid out platform and very similar, and that's why, of course. But they act similar to a chamber, but without, a lot of the.
Typically, that's what you would look at, and we work very well with the Scott County Chamber. So, if it is something that we would like to and work with them to facilitate, we could definitely, work with those elements. From a city side, on municipalities, you would look at your city venture, your posting, right? So any of your city venture posting. If it is local church group, that's where you get into, do we post this on our city page? And then we've got a car wash doing a fundraiser for something, but it's not city. So that's where your chambers, if they're chamber members, they belong to. We could look at using Energize Austin from that side a little bit more with that. And if we did want to set up, maybe there's some criteria or something involved with being a part of Energize Austin, and you could maybe spin a little bit of that to where that becomes a little bit more of your business development side of things, and then that may be an element. But ultimately, if somebody's choosing something, we've got to know the rules. And we gotta know who is making that choice.
Maybe it's restricted to like nonprofits and service organizations.
There's always gonna be that, who makes that initial assessment, but ultimately, yes, we can make, everything is set up to be able to do that. It would just be who ultimately says, let's put this on the city page, or is there another facilitator or element that we are posting events to. I know like tourism, it's Southern Indiana Tourism, not the Scott County. They have an events place that people can just upload their events if they're in those elements and those type of things. But you've got to be a member, or you have to have pre-approval to be able to upload the events, those type of things. So there's multiple ways to be able to set the guidelines and rules. We can work on that. We can always have that committee or whatever that would be to say, let's make up the rules for how we and what we should post. But typically on a city page, we would just post city events. And then if we are afterwards, or the other submitted photos and things, but yeah, yes, it's an answer. We can do it all. It's just, we've got to have some guidelines and rules set, because the first thing that'll happen is an event that is a little
Controversial.
yeah, or could be, and then they're saying, why aren't you doing that for me? And then you realize that we've got a lot of people in the community and a lot of different beliefs and a lot of different things and those type of things, so.
So one thing I mentioned to you a little bit at the parks, and this is no reflection on the quality work, because quality work's awesome. My concern is the amount of things that we have going on, especially considering the next 6 months, kind of through the winter months. You look back at what started this whole venture between us was the Ready Grant, the launch of that, and the exposure of that, and the highlight of the community and all that stuff. We had a focus and a purpose to what we were doing. And that has expanded, which is good, and the website all pulling in, that's all great. I don't know that we have a lot of activities. I think we're starting to reach for reasons to keep going and things like that. And all that stuff is great to have advertising to, but when you look at the cost versus, what we're doing and then our purpose, I just wonder, especially these next 6 months, do we have enough to really merit and focus on, as opposed to when we come around, hopefully the spring ready is launching or, building up and we start building steam. That's just where I'm struggling a little bit on that. So I don't know what comments or anybody else has on that, but that's where I think when I look at, cause it's, if there was something that came up on a cart or we could look at and talk about, are we getting, the same bang, same value through finding things to promote and do versus when we have our big main projects is what kicked this whole thing off to begin with. And maybe, some of the city people have some comment on that because, they're working with you more on a day-to-day basis. Maybe I'm missing something or maybe I'm underestimating things, but that's what runs through my mind, when I think about this.
Yeah, I mean, we work with, we're at least communicating weekly,
Yeah.
if not a few times a week, and a lot of times daily on issues. I mean, just like the trash will be coming up, there'll be a lot of that promotions, just from that one element. You've got your Halloween, you've got your Christmas, you've got, building into next year, if you have weather events, snow and those things, getting out those communications. It's all kind of relative because I look at it as like you're building the groundwork now for 6 months, a year down the road. And that's where it's at. You can push pause on it, right? And nothing.
We're paying, so it's kind of this full value for those kind of notifications, which, I don't know if there's a median, or something like that to consider. I want you guys involved. I want you guys involved, especially when we're ramping up the Ready project, help with, Meadowbrook, when, things like that. That's what I see as like the big moving things for our community. And I get, you gotta build, your base and things like that. I just, to have a whole marketing plan to advertise trash and weather and various things like that, without some big items, I don't know where, I see the disconnect a little bit on that.
I think there's a lot of overlap between city versus redevelopment, and like our projects that we're doing versus city initiatives. That's kind of my, concern, and more on like the financial standpoint is like, are we largely supporting all of that versus?
I'm okay with supporting it.
Yeah.
I'm saying, is it worth paying to promote, to post about the trash and weather alerts and things like that? I don't see that as big of a value as promoting our big events. And, like the park, that was great, but events like that are far and few between.
Yeah, so it would all be included, like.
I know it's included, but when's the next event? We haven't had, we had the park event, great event, but how many of those do we have?
I mean, we
don't have those on a monthly basis.
But we're doing videos all the time for like, let's say we just produce one on Marcos, we do employee.
How many more businesses we got left? How many more businesses are there to knock off?
Well, I mean, it's content, right? I mean, content creation's everything. People watch content once and then maybe some pieces are reused or they then catch and then they're online and then they're always there to run. But content creation's all the time. I mean, from, if you look back and you say that, if the city is the same a year ago or it'll be the same next year, it looks a lot different and is a lot different from how you're reaching individuals, Right now, Facebook is heavy, and that's where now we'll start to use reels and shorts, because people that are younger generations will start to look at Austin for their first home, right? And that's a different way that you're gonna wanna get information out there to target those home buyers that'll be buying your.
So,
those things.
How often is content being recycled?
Oh, and I don't think we recycle much content at
I
all.
will say from my own,
Why not?
from work experience.
Why not?
Yeah,
If you see something once, you look at it again.
well, like I said, yeah, that, you don't always see it.
I mean, those are reshared, not from us, like reposted. I mean, some of the videos,
Or just reformatted. Again, I love your guys' work and everything you do is quality. I just don't know if we have enough to merit and justify, till we hit off our next project is my concern.
What I will say from my personal work experience, professional work experience, whenever we were not utilizing social media and we were not trying to grow organizations by using technology, we were stagnant.
Mhm.
But as soon as we got on that platform and we started, I mean, it took a little bit of time because you have to wait and see it and people have to get familiar with it. But I think Austin lacks more than anything in technology. And we have to get up to part of that. I think it's a huge missed opportunity because without it, I mean, Jason's right. That's where we're going and there's no way to look around it. And if we don't, then we're missing a huge opportunity, I think, in all areas. But also, I think that the community suffers from knowing what's going on in that area, even with trash pickups. We're informed because we're in it, we're embedded, and we get out and we're active in the community. But majority of the community members right now, they're not active. And how else are we gonna reach them and do it at a level to where it's not outrageous, because we can't send out materials all the time. But we can place it on social media and it can be shared, or people can speak.
I know, I mean,
It is
a
now.
pretty picture of announcing trash pickup versus a basic,
Yeah, no, I
trash
agree with you on
pickup.
that, that was a lot.
how much,
Yeah.
yes, it looks pretty, but it doesn't add that much value to it. That anybody could just post, and create and say, announce the trash pickups.
Algorithms, I think, is a big part of it. And then probably like you have to look at the dashboard of it. So do you go look at, I'm sure you probably do look at the dashboard. So are you familiar with the dashboards that come on? So I would say like, so stories versus a post normally always work better. But also what's gonna grab.
I understand it's a pain to announce trash is not a good use of money, is what I'm
Well,
saying.
I'm just saying, if it's.
If that's all we get.
If it's
If that's included.
Yes, I
yeah.
understand. But what I'm saying is we don't have a lot of other stuff is what I'm getting at right now that, to post on. So like this event, we just,
Our current
that's a most.
proposal, our current deal is through yesterday, and so this would be starting today forward, the new one. Would you guys or you be okay with extending our current one by 1 month and letting us table this to next month? So we're not making.
I'm open to anything. I just feel like it's
Would you
worth
be okay with that?
discussing.
Adding a month on to, just extending our current one by 1 month, continue for a month and let us reassess and get back together.
But I do have one ask, maybe, or exploration. So, like, we just had this event, you guys put a lot into that, and that's great. So we don't have those, and we have lulls in between. You guys do have a channel. You guys do have a magazine. Is there some plugs, print, like just a little advertisement that could be kind of worked in there to give some value, and that brings true value,
We're
that's,
on all that stuff.
are we?
We.
Like inside the magazine, print
Well,
magazine?
we haven't printed our magazine in a couple years, so.
Really?
Yeah.
In my mind, I still see it.
So that's what
out
I'm
there.
saying, is we do 6 live shows. We
Okay,
reach over 2 million people view or a month on, just on our stuff. And that's where what I was mentioning earlier about like, I mean, we came up here last year and we did a live show from the firehouse. You know, I forget the numbers on it, but it was probably at least 10 or so thousand people that just saw that. If I'd have to look back at all the channel that was posted in those, but that's where, whenever I was talking about earlier, is with all those shows, I mean, we've got all our live content that we're posting daily. I mean, I don't know what time it is, but we do Ben at 10. So, I mean, there's a 45-minute live weather show that we do that reaches, I mean, it reaches, 8 to 15,000 people a day on some of those shows. So as we have those, we'll post our stories. We posted those events on our social media that reaches out about, and we share those posts. We could do, I mean, anybody can always come and we can send a link to anybody who wants to have a live hit from Austin. We can come up here, do more live stuff. Those are all the elements as we start to move we start to show some activity. We start to have those elements. That's where we're like building up to those type of things. We've done the videos with a lot of the businesses. Some of the businesses don't want to do the pieces. We've done an extol leads with the A1 Dobby, and we've done some of those pieces. So, I mean, we are doing all of those things that we have that are included, and in there it's about our extol.
I would think, repurposing some of those would still bring value, because some of the, like the A1 Dobby, the interview that you guys did through your channel, coming up and doing that, that was a good piece, and even segmenting that out or something like that, it's been a while since I've been out.
Yeah.
I mean, those things I see value in. Management of our website, I see good value in. Obviously the events, it's, the other posts that go along with this. Yes, we have a package, obviously. Yes, we want you to do that. But those are things we could actually find ways to do on our own at, very little cost.
How are we gonna do it on our own? I don't have the time to do it. Roger doesn't have the time to do it.
It's a lot.
You don't have the time to do it.
We could go in, I think we're like some of us are still.
Yes, you are, and we are, but again, finding the time to do it, and
It's on a.
I'll say this from a city standpoint. When I'm out, when I go to an event, when I'm at a conference, I'm hearing positive. I'm not hearing, hey, you had 42 arrests last week.
Right.
Everybody that gets arrested in Scott County is from Austin. I don't know if you ever read the paper, if they ever lived in Austin one time, they could live here for 3 days and live their whole life in Scottsdale, they're from Austin. That's not what the narrative is that's out there now. That's what people are telling us when we go to events. Hey, it's nice to see that you're getting this out. Well, we're talking about $3 million or more on York Woods Crossing.
Right. That's what
Those aren't gonna be people from Austin. Those are gonna be people coming in here from other communities. If you do not continue to get this narrative out there and change our image, you're wasting $3 million out there.
I agree with that.
And
You're wasting.
that's what I've been saying,
But you
promoting
can't
those
wait-
things.
You can't wait to,
So
you
what do
can't
you,
wait till you do the event to build it, to do it. You can't put it on pause. You just can't. That's of all the money you guys spend, that's money, and I'm telling you, that's money.
What about just for instance, Rich, this past week, Next all up there promoting the fireman's festival.
right, an event, yeah.
They got that, they're posting that, we probably need to promote, we got, lottery night coming in the area. We're probably thinking to build it in on, that they even know they can't. So we gotta get the word in, not just be Chris, everybody, if you hear something, they need to go to that stuff. They need to promote that, and if they don't know, they can't promote. And we don't hear everything, just like I didn't know, Doug, no one coming in Latin, I can't tell you. I can't now, because I know, but then I didn't.
What's that? I can't hear.
I didn't know if they could come in, they need to promote that kind of stuff coming in. I just don't think putting it on pause is the best idea. I mean, I don't, because you got fireman's stuff coming up, Christmas coming up, and that stuff needs to be ongoing. I think pushing all of that would be a bad choice. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, from my standpoint, again, I say this, it's the little things, I agree, you know, we're getting the information out of the trash can. That's all,
We're gonna do videos here tomorrow on trash cans, right?
that's important,
So that,
but it's also, it's just the continued growth, that people outside of here, if we're truly wanting to bring people in.
I'm not knocking marketing, and I'm saying I see the value, and I say to see value in the future. I'm just saying these next 5-6 months, I don't see a lot of big events and things like that from, other than these little stuff.
The larger projects, the smaller pieces tie into it.
That's what I'm saying.
we all do
The larger projects are gonna tie in. Again, if you don't put that out there, it's gonna be
A house is wonderful.
42 arrests again.
Yeah,
That's gonna be the narrative that's gonna be out there.
like having a house built in a community, it could be a gorgeous home, but do you wanna move into that area without knowing what's going on there? Probably not. I mean, I would hope not. But, so having these smaller components that tie into the well-being of a citizen and, you know, the infrastructure that we've got, that we are making the initiatives, and then also that we're up to par with the other communities, because we're competing with other areas as well. And I think that's one of the big parts too, that we are kind of in the past whenever it comes to a lot of these things, and we really do, like right now, we have a perfect opportunity to move forward and get up to par and maybe even get ahead of the game in some areas. But we're gonna have to play off of the smaller pieces and what does make Austin so great, so everyone else can, so the overall goals, like growth in the community and, you know, the development, bringing in new businesses, that won't come along unless you have those other pieces, and it has to be known.
Richie, what if we actually try to focus on doing an event that's a January, February, that is something unique? Maybe it's not a big public event, but it's more about businesses and networking. But we create, as a part of this, we create that next thing that's different. Maybe it's a during the weekday thing, maybe it's I don't know what it could be, but let's create
So there's.
and generate that narrative, because I think that was overall your intent 2 years ago when we started this, was let's create the narrative that we want. So let's create an event and tie it to partner with schools, partner with something where maybe we even ask to have it hosted at the school as a mentoring networking lunch or something.
So
Proactive,
And we
yeah.
also did the Eagle Clinic, we did the.
Right.
That's a big
Those
raise.
type of
That's
things.
been
So,
an
I mean, like,
awesome thing.
Yes.
I mean, there's
there's a way of building. foot
There's,
traffic.
it's.
And that's what
it's
I'm-
Being active, anything that you will find digital, it's not, like, that's why I say is it's a world of content creation. You are always creating content, you're always pushing it out there. And it is a build-up to when you need the service. I mean, when you look at what Meta does and anything, they're not worried about what your last purchase is. They're worried about what purchase you're gonna make in the future. That's why everybody thinks we're all getting listened to, right? Because it's like, oh, I wanna go to Hawaii, as mentioned earlier, right? It's because what you've searched, what you've done is building up to enough of those people are saying, here's what it is. We're plugging information into that algorithm. So when somebody searches a community that has this, and this, and that, AI is gonna pull all that information from everything that's out there on platforms, and then they're gonna say, look at Austin, Indiana.
Mhm.
And those are the elements that you're feeding the beast.
Well, Josh's point is, what I'm more in line with is being proactive, creating things as opposed to reporting things, you know, because we don't have enough to report on, I don't think. So creating something and creating an outreach of, and that's what started this whole venture together. And so, which was the right idea and has been the right idea. I just think with this lag of things going on, let's then, to that point, let's create something and let's make more happen. And, yes, we still have to fill, but I don't think fill stuff is enough.
I'd love to be a part of helping brainstorm for what that next thing is, if you guys are open to it. If we could like pick a couple weeks out, we pick a time to get back together, whether virtual or in person, and we brainstorm on that. But the mayor just made reference to, doing a food truck event. And I think if there's ways for the business community to partner and be a part of it, like as a developer, builder, everything, I'd love to be a part of sponsoring one of those things where we are partnering with School Corp to do something fun, getting high school kids engaged, getting businesses engaged. We can talk about the other stuff, but just bring people together.
Yeah,
Josh, what's,
I mean, like your project is our project, so we want, like promoting stuff like that.
I'm going to send out, something that we participate in one of the cities in the area that I work in. It's, what it is basically like your restaurants, and they are of course bars, but restaurants in the community, they partner with the other, organizations in the area or the other businesses. So it forces them to go into that business, they basically table on site, and then they do a crawl. So like you spend $30, you get a ticket, and you go to each one. You get a taste of food, but then you're also getting exposure to that other business, and you're collaborating at the same time. You're getting people to actually get out in the community and walk. That event alone, we're getting ready to have it again. This is our 7th year doing it. We get 500 people to come in our door because we're the registration area. 500 people come in our door just within those first 3 hours. And yes, it's definitely a larger city. However, the concept is still, can be recreated here, and I think it would work wonderful. But I'm gonna send that out and then email with a link to that so everybody can kind of see it. But I don't think I have your email address, so if I could get it to you, or get it from you at some point.
Yeah, I'm ready for the meeting.
Okay.
With an effort to, create more and do more. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And that's my point, is I don't feel like we've had that. So if there's gonna be an effort to create that and make more happen, then that's marketing, package that. I can fully support.
Would you want us just to create events and then just bring it, or do you, are we putting together?
I think this brainstorm, like you're talking about, of coming up, yes, you guys are involved, come with those ideas, Josh comes with ideas, Stacy and all that, and then let's create things, and like I say, they don't have to be huge events, they can be just, concentrated efforts that actually then are something that's promoted online, website, show something going on.
Yeah, and I mean, like what I had started with like the music or those arts and culture events and things, that what does bring people into the things that I think we absolutely need more events, right? I think there's absolutely a reason to have, the businesses and those elements get together. I do think that it's when we can facilitate, set up, and have, put it all together with very little additional cost involved with anything. And those would be excellent things to set up. I think we just gotta, put something together from, either the committee, the redevelopment side, the, where and when and how, what we would want to look at to do there is all the mechanism that's in place, because I do think that we have built that foundation with the new branding, with the new pieces. We're able to start, as I mentioned, about pushing more information out that will then pull people into stuff that we do right now. We're relying heavily on social media, and we have that presence now, but when we start to gain more names from the Austin Alert is what it's called on the website, we'll be able to, if we have 1,500 names on there, we'll be able to send out a text and say, music at the park, right? 1,500 people are gonna hit that's gonna be wanting to get that information. Right now, we don't have any of that.
And when will the website be live?
I mean, I'm sending the final information to the state to where they've got a redirect point.
That's right.
We're waiting on one element because we're also switching over emails for the city, to a new IT provider. Same emails, everything the same, it's just a different provider, and they're gonna provide me with one last number for additional security, and then I send all that to the state, and then they change all the records and everything, and then it points to our hosting instead of where it's been hosted at.
Are we talking weeks or months?
I mean, I'll send all the information to the state by the end of the week, so the first email, they didn't get back to me, and took them 2 weeks. I followed back up another week, followed back up, or how it was, and then they got back to me, and then I told them, thank you for that information, and then they were emailing back and forth on it. So I submit the form to the state, and then when they change it, I couldn't imagine it being more than a week and a half, 2 weeks. I would hope that as soon as I send in the form for the records, they change it, because once they change it, it'll be just, instead of it pointing here, it points to here, but I do have to submit a form to the states on their timeline. But yeah, that'll be, I mean, everything's ready to go, it just is that.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, really, it's, I mean, it's got, there's information on it where now there's little. And all the history photos and everything, stuff is all transferred over.
Mhm. Well, if there's the effort going forward, and we look at it from a monthly basis, have we done something that is formalized and outreach, of promoting something on at least a monthly basis, because, we've had some of these events, and that, there's months we don't have events. So those are big splashes. Those are, you guys put a lot of time and effort into those. If we're doing something along those lines on a pushing forward, pushing out something that's more marketable, then I'm in favor of it. Like I said, I've always, you guys do great quality work. We just need more to put out there, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, we are posting 3 to 4 times a week on everything. So, I mean, there's information that's going. I mean, we're continuously doing, I mean, right now, we've started in the past, I don't know, few months, 6 months, about highlighting employees of the city, which is also, you don't look at it much, but when you're building community, then people see faces, and whenever things happen that community might be a little more upset about or something like that, then they're usually not too upset when they know that people are.
Yeah, I mean, you build out. I mean, you got your main core events is here, and then like the stuff with the employees, that's close to home, that's, good relations, good community stuff, and then you got your information, and stuff like that. And so as long as we're pushing, keeping that core going, which was, we started out with Ready, and then has evolved to other things too, but, all we're getting is this outside rim of just, trash, happy July 4th, and stuff like that. That's, we just focus towards the center and make sure we're on a regular basis having something either out there or in the works to be coming out there.
On a regular basis, we're always involved in doing something on a regular basis. If you're talking about events on a regular basis, then we can work on that. So I just want to make sure,
So
it's not like we're not doing something for any long period of time.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, there's always
daily, if not at least a few times a week. I mean, and this is not just built now, but for content later. and down the road. So if it's event stuff that you're looking to see,
Impact.
I just wanna make sure.
Impactful things is what I'm.
Yeah, no, but they're all impactful.
Hopefully this will allow more of our community members to be more engaged in what we do, and then they will want to
Sure.
also commit and volunteer, and I think that once, it's kind of hard right now because it kind of goes both ways, right? Like, you guys have expertise in the events and like how to do things, but then also, this is our city and we need to implement those events. And if we have more involvement in the community, more foot traffic, people are going to want to do more. And I think we're just not there yet to get, it's been us in a sense throughout multiple years, we need folks in the community to get out more too.
So we're forming a committee, is what I'm hearing, right?
That's exactly what
I'm
I'm
sure, which I've
All right,
mentioned it a few times.
so let's do that. Let's do that, and with that, we'll create ideas, we'll push things, keep things going. Like I said, hopefully Ready's coming up soon, earlier next year, and, we have Meadowbrook we can still push, so, as long as we're doing those things, focused on that, I'm good with it. I just wanna be sure that we're, getting some bigger things, bigger impactful things going.
Yeah, you definitely wanna maximize what you're using with us, and it's not like the price is gonna go up, right?
Right.
Like this is, in a way, all inclusive to get everything that we have.
Well, that's kind of things, like when it's,
Users, we wanna be used, we love working, here, and the more that we have, and we're not manufacturing content, which is what we don't wanna do. We don't wanna
that's,
reuse the same thing 50 times. We want new stuff, so it benefits everybody for this. So that's a 100% certainty.
And I just talked to Angie whenever we were at the ribbon cutting about this, that, something that I strongly feel like we need is the more involvement. And, I tried to put out a survey not so long ago of, asking the younger generations in our population of what they want out of our community. What do they want to, stay here as a resident long-term? And how can we get them more involved? It didn't get much traffic, so she was saying, maybe you guys could help us with that. So I do think that having those surveys readily available to our citizens, so where we could, get input from them as well, that will hopefully be a driving factor in getting them more involved. But it's also gonna allow us to know where we need to shift our focus and where we need to grow in. I think we have ideals ourselves and we know, but, we're not the majority of the community.
right. So, is there a motion?
I make a motion, we commit to a committee to input information, for distribution,
And then-
cash to, oh, you mean the contract?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Yes, I'll make a motion that we approve the new contract October 1 to 9/30, 2026.
I'll second it.
Mhm. Any questions?
And I'd just like to have a workshop sooner rather than later.
Yes, well, that's my point, yeah. All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passed.
And we will we'll set up the ad hoc committee and
Yeah,
ASAP and have a meeting within weeks.
just, yeah,
That sounds good.
big value.
Thank you.
All right, next up is the mural. And so there's been a proposal submitted on that. On the Sapphire Building, I don't remember the address of that, just across the street from here. And that was resent out if you don't have it, you guys in front of you. You guys have that mural proposal?
We've seen it. It looks
Okay.
just like that.
Yeah.
Well,
It does.
the pricing too, and so,
Yeah.
so I made, I said something to Trevor, he's obviously had to go to another, business meeting he had, but, just for an idea, to get input from an artistic person, I asked if he would, check with her, if she had any ideas on maybe, the concept is great, and this, if we go with this, it's great. But somebody who has, who does this stuff, for a living, maybe she would have maybe some ideas, to provide as options. And if we stick with this, we stick with it. If she comes up with something great, then great, but the pricing would be, this will change up.
If we went with that design, it would be cheaper if we did some sort of vinyl placement and we didn't pay for a mural. It would be a lot cheaper.
Mhm.
But if we wanted, I think if we go with a mural, we need something with more than that. Or we utilize a vinyl and we go with that concept. But it could be a lot cheaper, because we wouldn't have to pay for somebody to paint.
Mhm.
So my question is, are they gonna paint the rest of the wall?
Yeah, I thought that too,
Because the rest of the wall has to be painted.
and I doubt they would, and that
No.
installation is.
No, that's what
I thought that was, it's on my phone, but I thought that was in
Well,
there,
it
saying
was,
that,
Only that.
it was only the half.
So if you look at the
Center like this.
dimensions, she didn't include the outer extra.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, because that's a 16, so I submitted, or I sent over some proposals to a couple of artists, I haven't heard back yet. But, on GIS, it shows that building, I wanna say is 60, I wanna say it's 60 across.
This to the brick says 20 at the,
20.
yeah,
Here, I
20
got it.
centered, in the mural centered. So I would expect that, yes, if you doubled, it would be closer to 60 because of the edges.
And I think it was 18 feet tall.
Yes, it definitely says 18 feet tall for the building to the soffit. And then the mural would be the 14 feet
Yeah,
by 20 wide.
and the muralist is not going to paint the, because
Oh, right.
a lot of times they want you to prime the building ahead of time anyway.
all right, so do we want to get her artistic opinion on what could be done with something along the lines that we're looking at? And someone investigate doing the vinyl as you're speaking of?
I can let you know the vinyl doesn't work all the time. But yeah, I do think that we should get there. I mean, we don't want them to go crazy, of course, but at the
No.
same time, I think it would be nice for them to give us,
I'd like to have another concept other than it just being
That's what I was,
a white wall and they're stuck in half of it. It doesn't really look like a mural that way. It just looks like, which vinyl, I mean, that would be acceptable because that's really what it looks like anyway.
that's what it looks like,
And instead of it being a mural even divided by the brick division, yes. Because to me, for the money, that's it, it's, for what we're gonna get, I don't think it's gonna make the impression that we want. Not after what we've worked on for years, trying to improve the wall. I would like to see
It's
something
very
that's.
similar
something-
to our sign, our welcome sign, and a mural should be more than that.
okay, so we'll make a request for some artistic,
More information, yeah, I would
Designs
like to have more
from her?
information, yes.
but like I said, without getting into all the
And I
things we gotta
think
get
should look
for.
at multiple artists too. No, like I said, I reached out to a few, I just haven't heard back yet.
Yeah, I would like to have more information.
There are a couple of artists that I found in New Albany. There were some up in Indy. Of course, I prefer to do it more local, but, think there were 2 that I reached out from Southern Indiana.
So you're going to work on that then?
I have been,
Okay. So I don't know. Alright, so we'll just table it and,
Wait for more information.
yeah, I mean, if you get something that's,
Yeah,
you know, in
spread
between,
them
let's
out.
try to communicate, so we know if we can have some of that hashed out as far as,
16 by 62. That was nice.
And down at the bottom, it does say wall 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Fresh background, so I think the
That would
larger
be-
price would be the,
Included.
yeah,
Mhm.
except for the fact that, you know, that's an add to, and then we'd still end up with just the part of it,
Okay,
so, yeah.
alright,
And we'll have to make sure too, again, with experience, sorry guys, but I really do this every day. We need to make sure that they don't need any equipment, and they would be bringing their own, so like lifts and things of that matter, because some artists do expect us to take care of that.
okay. Alright, next up in new business is the resolution with USDA loan notices. Josh, can you summarize?
Yeah, Chris had emailed me yesterday. He had a review meeting with USDA, with our company that assists us with that process. And, they requested that we approve a Section 504 agreements procedure. And that is what is before you now for action. So they provided us a sample and I went off that.
Anything particular we need to be mindful of on this, or?
Nope,
Straightforward.
standard.
Okay.
Alright, any motions?
I make a motion to pass resolution number 2025-R-5.
My only question is then the procedure and are attached? Are they part of it, or do we need to include the section 504 and the notice of non-discrimination with it, or does that, we have to vote on that separately?
No, you can just
All
approve it.
together?
It's all in there.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Okay, then I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright, motion passed. And then second up is the resolution number 2025-R6, resolution of the Austin Redevelopment Commission approving 2026 spending plan.
So this is, we had this last year, the new statutory requirement that we adopt some plan, kind of map out expectations for spending. That can be very broad, and obviously this isn't committing any funding to any specific area. By using the numbers from Baker Tilly as far as anticipated revenues, that's where the revenue overview, miscellaneous revenue, we have some interest that comes in, rent, other things, so it's an estimate. Carryover fund balance, obviously we don't know what that will be yet because we're not at the end of the year, so again, that's an estimate to give us the total estimated available funds, and then the big trigger or big categorical spending categories that we already have are identified for continued spending, and then with estimated amounts. Those are on the higher side because one of the things that I think is a problem with this statute is, how about if we did a bond You don't know that usually until the end of the year, so there's always potential for additional spending in areas, that you just would not foresee at the moment, so. It's not a budget, it's a spending plan. It's supposed to give you a forecast and some idea, and that's what is set forth for you for action.
Any questions? If none, is there a motion?
I make a motion to pass the resolution number 2025-R-6.
All right, all in favor?
Stacy?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passed. All right, any other new business? Yes, sir.
Give you a little update on the decorative lights. They're all up except for one,
Okay.
which we placed across, from Audrey. They, for some reason, their engineer didn't think we needed once they left it out. Put another one in there. We got two that's not burning, one on the corner across the drugstore, it's not burning, and one on First Street. And, they brought that to our attention. We got one down in front of the glass on that side of Jim Hughes, just burning all the time, so we got to replace the head on that. So apparently, for that, unless you all see something that's not burning, let me know. I've checked several times, they're all burning. We got these two that we got here. And then I had Skyler put receptacles on the bottom, because they would not do it, because of, they put them at the top, so we had to run the lead down and put them down there, but anyway. So what we done is when you select these poles, apparently you could select a shroud protected from the bottom of those poles. I think I talked to you about that this Saturday.
Mhm.
And so he's given us a price on that. Chris and I have discussed this. You look at it if you want, but we think C would be the best option. And there's a price on here for C to make the poles look a little bit more better. There's a price and then there's a fee for us to, it's like $15,000 for the shrouds. And then there'd be a maintenance fee, which Chris is willing to pay the maintenance fee if you'll pay for the,
Maintenance for the shrouds?
we have to pay if it's added. It's added because if they tear it up, they replace it. We just pay for that. And it's added to our maintenance fee that we have with the lighting. The fees right here. He gives a price on this one.
So why wasn't it included?
Because we didn't select one apparently when you select the pole. I wasn't at the meeting when you select the poles. So you just selected a straight pole and you didn't select the shroud for the bottom.
I don't recall even seeing,
Pardon?
I don't recall even seeing
No, I don't.
a line item for
All
that.
we had was a picture of,
We just had
poles,
poles.
there was a printout of poles and no description, we just picked, and then it got changed. So no, that wasn't ever communicated.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
So,
He said, Steve Lee sent that stuff to Chris. And then I wasn't at the meeting where you see the poles, so I didn't see the poles either, so I had to look and see what you had and
I
ask
don't
him
know
why.
that we would even know that we would need that without there being a line item.
What's the cost?
It's 15,000 for the poles.
15,600.
Up front, we can add it all to the maintenance and not pay anything up front, but it's gonna add $200
But
something
then
dollars
it's
a month.
$32
a
a
month.
month.
Yeah.
For the C,
Yeah,
this one,
yes,
okay, the B is,
just like it's straight, and it didn't have no feel.
oh, so you prefer the C one?
That's what we thought, maybe you guys can,
What's the price differential though?
$2,000.
You gotta think about that too.
$2,000 down and then $20 a month. Mhm.
No,
Why is
that's the other one.
Yeah.
This one's 13.6,
651.
and this one's 15.6.
240.
231.
And it's, 113 a month to 132 a month. Okay, $2,000, $20 a month,
Basically.
basically. No, wait a minute, what's,
I was gonna see, there's a little more here.
Do it, no upfront cost, it is pay more per month.
oh, that's where you got the 200.
Yeah, so if you don't, pay this up front,
Down.
You don't pay it
and
up
then
front,
that,
you
If you don't pay
add
the
$200
down,
some dollars more a month with the payments you make.
per month for how long? Ever, I guess.
I would say ongoing.
Yeah.
Forever and ever.
Forever is the amount of years that you've done the lease.
27.
I think the opposite of a 10-year lease.
65.
Yeah.
On top of what we're already paying. And what are we already paying?
Jane, I don't know what the monthly payment was on your 10-year lease. Chris is supposed to pull that up, but I don't have it.
$100, $1,200 a year. Yeah. 10 years, yeah, 12,000.
What the one you like?
That's the one the mayor prefers.
Yeah.
Well, that's
This
what
is the
Chris and I
cheaper
thought
one,
we did a poll.
and then they chose that one.
B looked like it's more straight up, just like the pole.
And we don't know what these are.
The one on the bottom two are more expensive than the C. The D and the E,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it doesn't include the one pole that you're discussing on Audrey Lane.
yes, it will.
Or it says it
I
doesn't.
talked to him about it yesterday.
Okay.
I would get it in writing first.
Does not include the 2 poles in between City Hall and Fire Station.
Go with the 36, so we have 35 up now. Originally, you had to put that in there, because we had that pole up there.
Yeah.
I would say we table it until we get the final in writing.
Or you can get the final in writing.
Because it doesn't include the additional holes, so the prices may change as well, right?
$265 each, so we just had 260. Is,
265 each is monthly,
That's
unless
a
we
monthly,
do the
that's a monthly fee for all.
15,000 up front, and then 133 a
If
month.
you pay the 15,000 up front, it was $130 some dollars a month.
Right. Yeah.
So this
That's what this
says-
quote says. But I'm sure it will change.
well, with a
Yeah.
couple more, I'm sure, with in line.
It will change.
It will change, yeah.
Well, you could approve it subject to that being edited. And then, do not exceed amount if you wanted to.
Is it because they're on site now, they want this completed? Or
No,
they,
Yeah, he has to order those, and then they have to do a work order like they did on the poles.
so it's not immediate?
It's like, yeah, you have to order, he said, that's why I told you we want something in writing today, so we can get it done today, so we get it, going.
Is this going to stop the installation of the outlets with SNL Electric?
What do you mean, the outlet?
The shrouds, because they're on the
The
bottom,
outlets are at the top of the pole.
they're at the top, and they're gonna proceed with that?
No, it works for decorative lighting for holidays.
I understand, I just wanted to make sure that it didn't interfere where you were talking about the outlets at the bottom, these shrouds cover up that.
Yeah, he does not on these two poles there. These aren't included, because they're the shrouds for these two in the parking lot.
Okay, but SNL is gonna go ahead with the installation of the outlets
No,
immediately?
SNL doesn't have to do anything with those poles.
No,
They already.
all the rest of the poles that we're talking about that have shrouds, all of these
They don't
along,
hear shutters at the bottom.
where are the outlets going to
They're
be?
on top.
Okay, and are they gonna proceed with the
They're over
installation?
there.
Okay, so SNL's done?
SNL doesn't have to do anything with those.
Okay, what's SNL gonna do?
SNL's done these two in the parking lot. They're already done.
Okay, so SNL's installed,
SNL's done.
okay. So the poles that are out there now have outlets and are ready for plug-ins, they just need shrouds
Yes,
at the bottom.
yes.
And the purpose of the shrouds?
Shrouds and plate. It just gives them more of their appeal. I mean, they have no appeal to them. All this is very pole.
I didn't notice that. I had noticed that.
I think we're gonna do it, we just go ahead and do it, it's gonna be
Yeah, they're permanent.
a little bit more for the couple extra ones.
Is
Is that monthly fee on top of what we're already paying
So
them?
it was up to- Yeah, the shrouds are on top of the poles, as far as price wise, so we would have a combination now of monthly fees.
We already have a monthly fee now. You pay
For the poles,
you're paying a monthly fee for the poles.
right,
City's paying for the maintenance fee,
right. And then this is on top of that.
yes.
That's one thing, the maintenance fee on the shrouds.
I don't
We're adding that to our maintenance fee, so our maintenance fee will be
In case they have to,
replacing.
that's only part that seems, but at the same time, this is the choice we've made to go forward with those poles.
So it's like $3.50 a pole, basically. That we're paying maintenance monthly fee. Roundabout.
That's as bad as we say.
Right. I mean, if you look at it that way.
Everything has a maintenance fee,
I know. So,
whether we
That's-
agree or not.
New way of business,
It's the way it is.
subscription model.
Exactly.
All right, yes or no?
As you get older, Jamie, those maintenance fees goes up.
oh yeah.
I've already discovered that.
Amen.
Oh,
I'm okay with it. If we have funds to do it.
Is there anything else we need to look at?
Yeah.
before we approve
I talked to Trevor before he left, he was fine with it, but I just pass that on to you. So.
I think they'd look better with them. And it is a fixture that will be there and remain every single day. That's, yes.
Okay, who's gonna make a motion? Stacy's making a motion.
Kelly will second
All in favor?
it.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed.
They have out those Wildcats.
He took out his hernia, you could hear. it.
Yeah.
Any other new business?
Just wait till we steal the IU coach from him. Just wait till we steal the IU coach from him.
Anybody have questions about the church revitalization? Or what are we doing to take care of it right now to maintain?
That'd be-
That's
That's
a,
the main-
yeah, we have.
Robert, what are we doing as far as maintaining the church building?
Our checking.
Yeah, checking, is anybody going over there on a regular basis to?
Not on regular, we've had Shangle in there a couple times, but other than that, Chris and I've been in there, not on a daily or weekly basis, no.
As we near winter, that you
Yeah.
should have some kind of schedule.
You know, that, I'll pay
That-
the water long,
Yeah.
water's not long.
I'm in.
Until.
Like figures birthday parties in the basement.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Let me ask you a question here, which
You
option
could
did
put that to them, so,
See,
you know,
you see? Do you wanna go, you wanna pay the money, the figure, you want to do the fee add on the payment, or you just make a motion of which way you want to do it?
We didn't do
I would figure the one, so.
that. Do we wanna pay the $15,000 up front for the lower monthly fee, or do we want to, it'd be about another $100, wasn't it?
I don't.
Didn't I
think
write
it's
down
much.
between, like 113 to 220 or something, not to pay the 15,000 up front?
Pay 15 up front, it's 132. If you call, it's 265.
So do we wanna use our money to pay the down payment, or do we wanna just pay it monthly?
If you did it 10 years,
right,
it's probably $300
It's right
more,
down.
it's right about the same, so.
So we
other
wouldn't have to
than
use
time
our money.
value money. But they will extend beyond 10 years. right? I mean, that's lease is spreading the payment out, and in 10 years, we still have them.
That's
I
why,
think you would need to confirm that 200 and something would, after 10 years, would go down to that 132.
Maintenance fee's gonna continue.
Yeah, maintenance.
yeah,
fee.
we're not paying the maintenance fee.
Yeah.
We're only paying the post
Right.
and the poles. And it still said ongoing. It didn't
Yeah, it
say
said
10 years.
ongoing, it didn't say 10.
Beyond 10 years, that 265 or whatever it is goes on, we wouldn't want that to be at that amount. We want it to be the lower amount.
Yes.
They just send over a contract? Were they gonna send you something formal?
Oh, I'm sure you did on the last one, I didn't sign it, but. Chris said all that.
But it did say ongoing on
Yeah.
It did, that's why I was.
But it's all only ongoing for a 10-year term.
It does
Maintenance
not
But
fee-
it
say
doesn't
that.
stipulate that.
It doesn't say that.
The maintenance fee will continue, I do know that, I had a conversation with him in the past. Because of the question that we called him back in here, because I was not, we can't continue to pay it ongoing. But when the poles are paid off, and installation, all that's over, well over $100,000. Once that's paid off, the maintenance fee will continue forever.
But we
But
don't
they
have,
were responsible for the pole.
we,
Yeah.
like, in writing,
We
that,
need it in writing.
that the
Chris has
poles,
that over there now.
Oh, I guess we'll wait until we get it then. Is he able to send it over to us or?
All you gotta do is let me know which option you want to, and I'll take care of, make sure we got it in writing, that we don't have a maintenance start up.
What's the agreement going 10 years out?
See,
That's what it boils down to on the monthly.
when you're 10-year, your payment's done. The maintenance fee is gonna continue.
So what is that maintenance fee after 10 years?
It'll be an additional $132.
What if you do the pay plan? Is that mean it's,
200 or something.
is it still the 200 or does it drop to the 130 is the question.
That's that question.
That's the question.
yes.
If it stops and drops to the 100, then you might as well pay that over time.
Yeah.
If the 260 amount continues year 11,
Better off,
then better off to pay the money up front
yes.
and pay the lower fee. That's the question. And it may very well drop off.
Yeah.
And if it drops off, we want to pay it over time.
Right, it just doesn't say that.
Right.
So you'll find that out then,
Yeah.
all right. Any other new business?
Did you get that, purchase offer for the one lot? I hate to waste everybody's time. but-
Oh.
You're fine.
Yes, I do have, sorry. I do have that. It's not something that we could necessarily take action on at this moment, something to take under advisement. And, so that everyone has a chance to look at it. And then, you know,
So I should have put it on the agenda.
yeah, I mean, it's in this envelope, and so I didn't realize I wasn't paying attention, but, yeah, we want to have the chance to look at that and, advise, you know, make a decision at that in the
You
future.
guys meeting again in a month or?
Yes,
The end of October, it won't be a whole month, it's,
as long as everyone's available, I haven't looked that far ahead yet, see.
yeah. We set it for,
The normal schedule's
Normal.
22nd,
yes,
which I don't have a conflict of. Yeah, I don't want to try to just do it on the fly, and have a chance to really look at it. And there might be some things that we need to clarify. So I have your cell phone, I'll look at it, and if I have questions, need clarity on, I'll reach out to you.
I appreciate it.
Okay,
thank you.
any other business? Other than, our lots, you know, we have, talked about working on our list for the next round. I don't know if anybody's taking any time to look at those, but I want to throw that back out, that, we got a couple good ones, at least, you know, that one good one where they're on Church Street. and, take a look at what other ones that would be available to get back on the market.
This probably isn't old or new, whatever, but I did send out the update on the mulch for the corner
Mhm.
that I'd like to have done before winter
Mhm.
in order to have the Christmas display there and everything. But we had, when I went back through my notes, we had talked about gravel for Nino Park, and I hadn't asked about that, whether I needed to get quotes to top off the gravel, or we want it sprayed, or we want to wait till springtime, or it was just something that was in my notes. So I didn't know if I was supposed to come up with some ideas for that, or,
What's your opinion on the need for it?
well, personally, I didn't see that we necessarily needed more gravel. I thought if it just was sprayed and try to kill, I have a gravel partial driveway, and it's very hard to keep the weeds out of the gravel, spraying wise, but, I'm willing to ask the city or talk to someone who might volunteer even to just spray it and see what we can do.
Start with that. Yeah, I think it's
Okay,
a good approach.
okay, and then
As
see,
long as we're not having, sparse areas or anything like that, of that nature. We don't want gravel just to, to be there for, kill the grass.
Right.
If it needs it as a base, then yes, we need to
I
do it.
I don't think that, we can see in springtime, depending on what the winter's like, but right now, I don't think it really needs money, it needs spray. So I'll check on that.
I'll have Shane spray it.
Okay, if he can work on it, because I talked to him about the mulch situation too, so, yeah, if we can, those two areas just need a little attention, so. Okay, that's all I have.
Anything else? All right. Next meeting is scheduled for October 22nd at 8 a.m., same place, same time.
Okay.
Should I bring lunch or?
We need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.